We are back for another brand new episode for the podcast this week. I got a great young talent out of the state of California, the very sunny state of Southern California. We got Dallas, Washington, Santa Margarita Eagles high school team, Rose City Rebels EYBL team. Appreciate you coming on, man. How you doing today?
Of course, I'm doing good.
Well, excited to have you on. You're looked at as probably one of the top in the state of California, one of the top in the country. So let's just get right into it. Your school finished 21-9 on the season, 5-5 in your league. A little bit of a tough stretch to end the year, I know. How do you feel you and the rest of your guys did this year with some of the stuff you guys came up against and how you just kind of persevered through the talent you played?
I think we did good. We had a talented team this year. I know the end of the season wasn't how we wanted to end the season, but we just had a lot of injuries and a lot of guys getting like roughed up. But I think we had a pretty good year in the start. Beat Mater Day for the first time in like 19 years, which is big for us. So I think this season was just like a good season to build off of, especially losing like our main player this year. Um, so it's just like this year is a year that we can like use next year to like build.
And you're only a sophomore, which is quite impressive for you guys beating Mater Day. I got the score up right here. 65-57 was the final score. Trying to get the box score for you guys. And we got no points. That's awesome. So we can't see the stats.
Yeah.
What things did you focus on most throughout the year? I saw throughout your Instagram and some clips, looked like you were injured throughout this season as well. What things did you focus on though this throughout the year to help continue your game, to make jumps statistically and also just in yourself to become a better player?
My big thing that I was focused on is just like working on my defensive game and kind of like my post game, because I know I can shoot, I know I can get to the basket off the dribble, but defense and like being in the post are the two things I needed to work on. And so my goal, like when I was playing, was just like to be that defensive guy to get stops, to create offensive plays for like my teammates.
Are you looked at as like the big guy on your team? I know you're 6'9", if we haven't mentioned that yet. So you're kind of in that middle stage of like you could be a small forward in today's day and age of basketball, but also a power forward. But I know in high school, I only played club ball for like 2 seasons and I'm 6 foot and I was used as the big guy. So I can't imagine what your coaches might be asking you to do sometimes. What kind of position were you playing throughout this year as probably one of the taller guys on your team?
I was playing like a stretch 4 and a stretch 5, especially because we had a lot of wing players and a lot of guards.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I was playing a lot of inside this season.
You looked at as one of the top in the country. 24/7 Sports has you as the 43rd ranked person in the country, number 7 in the state of California. What has it been like continuing to rise as a sophomore through the rankings? How do you hope to continue that to become an even better player and a more even sought after prospect?
It's been great. It's just kind of another thing to push me to work harder to pass whoever's in front of me. But it's a blessing to even be on the list and even be like known or acknowledged as that. So
When did it I guess my next question for you would be like, when you see that kind of stuff come out, like 24/7, ESPN, On3, all these guys, I've had Joe Tipton on and he's talked about how they kind of do the rankings and how he picks the spots. But for you, when did you first notice yourself on those rankings? What was the feeling you got? And kind of like, I'm sure everyone there's always like that 8th grade kid who's like 6'11" and like windmilling on small white kids. And he's like the number 1 player in the country, I'm sure.
yeah.
But for you, what was that feeling you first got when you first saw you were ranked for the first time?
I was happy because that's always like that's a dream for like every player to be ranked, but it wasn't like, oh, I'm ranked, so I don't have to like work as hard anymore. It's just like gave me the look that I had to like work even harder now, especially that I was like up on that list.
I'm sure you talked to a lot of the guys. You're in the EYBL, which we're going to get into as well. I asked Parker Jefferson this last week. He's one of the top kids out of Texas for your class. Um, do you and like your buddies who are also in these rankings, do y'all talk about this stuff at all? Like, I'm sure there's a competitive nature to it where like you're trying to outplay each other and maybe hop a couple of rankings above. But do y'all talk at all about like, or is it a big thing, um, to kind of be ranked above a couple of your buddies, or is it kind of just another day?
I mean, not really, because at the end of the day, like when you step on the court, rankings don't matter because you could you could step on the court against somebody who's not ranked and they could give you 25. So
Mhm.
at the end of the day, like the rankings don't matter when you're on the court. So I don't really talk about it that much.
You've been offered so far through your first 2 years of high school, Washington State out of the Pac-12, who I know has been trying to look at a lot of the young talent on the West Coast. I know the House Twins out here, who I've been able to get to know pretty well. They were both offered by Washington State. You also got Portland State on the list. Pepperdine was a third school, probably the best campus out of the three schools right there. From what I've heard about the school in Malibu, lots
Yeah.
of schools I'm sure are interested in your talent with, like you were saying, how you're able to use your size and ability, get to the rim, also create for others. How much does getting those offers mean to you, or is this just the beginning of what looks like to be a hot summer for you guys?
It's getting those offers have been a blessing, been a dream since I was little, especially since my dad uh has been a coach. I've seen his players get offers, so it's been a blessing. But hopefully this summer I have a big summer and I get more. So
With your dad being a coach, throughout those years, what's kind of the advice he's given you? I'm sure, with how you're looked at already and the type of not necessarily publicity, but a lot of like popularity on social media. I know with a lot of video accounts and stuff reaching out to you and stuff. What's your dad been kind of helping you through? What's some of the advice he's given you to kind of just keep your head on straight and, block out all the noise?
yeah, just basically like stay humble and don't be one of those kids out there like floating and doing all that extra stuff. Just play. Just like play the game and stay humble and keep working. That's basically just the advice he's given me.
At 6'9", you averaged about 10 points a game this past season. What made you feel so confident to go on the court, dominate the way you did when you played, help carry your team to a 21-9 record, which we'll get into in a second too. But what made you feel so confident on the court this year?
I mean, I just know that I know what I can do when I'm on the court. I know that I can score and I know I can play defense. So it's just kind of like keeping that same mindset to go out there and play my game and not try to do anything extra or outside of my ability.
You guys came in 21-9. Let's get back to that for a second. Um, a lot of big wins throughout the year. You started off the year against Oxford Academy, winning 63-17. The next game, 2 days later, against Compton, you won 83-19. Went on a bit of a winning streak. Uh, Constantly playing good talent. It seems to look like with Crossroads, back-to-back wins against them. But then you guys kind of face some tough talent in your league, which it seems like your school is in, one of the top football divisions in the country as
Yeah.
well, with Mater Dei and St. John Bosco. Picked up a win against Mater Dei, lost to Bosco, got a couple more wins, and then unfortunately ended kind of your season on a skid, losing to Mater Dei, Bosco, and then Altimos. Is that how you say it?
Los Alamitos. Yeah.
Los Alamitos, which I know had Malachi Nelson last year. Um,
Yeah.
how are you able to kind of keep the spirits up with the guys? I'm sure that's not the way you wanted to end the season. What were some kind of takeaways what are some things you took away from this season to learn from, to grow from, and hopefully turn into wins next season?
Just no matter what happens in the season, that we just got to keep playing, like and keeping a team. Because I know this year, even though we were losing, we still had that good team bond, and we still came to practice every day and worked, and came to every game day ready to play. So it just has a lot to do with like our mindset going into the season as a team.
You will, of course, be playing with your school throughout the year. I know Section 7's coming up in a couple of months, but you're also going to be playing with Rose City Rebels, an EYBL team out of Oregon. Play with them last year. I know you guys kind of dominated with some of the guys you had, it seemed like from the videos. It didn't seem fun for your opponents. I saw you throwing like off the glass lobs and just all types of stuff. You
Yeah.
start playing with them last year. Um, how much did the EYBL help you take your game to the next level and help you maybe understand what the rest of the country's talent looks like?
Mhm. I mean, it helped a lot, especially playing kids like Cameron Boozer. Just seeing like that level that they're at, the level I want to get to. But also just helps like being able to play different competition from different states and different areas of the country. Um, so yeah, it's a good experience to be able to play in EY on the EYBL circuit.
Who is the toughest matchup you had to go up against one-on-one?
Probably Cameron Boozer.
What I gotta ask, because Koa is out here. I've been able to watch him a handful of times and just kind of see like the physical dominance he plays with. What makes Cameron the number one player in the country for your guys' class?
He's just a big kid. Like I just know like he knows how to use his body. He knows how to get to where he wants to get to on the court, and that's just how he kills every game. So I know I got a good defense stop on him first play during EYBL when we played him. And then every time he came down the court next time, he just put his shoulder into my chest, and yeah, so he just knows how to use his body.
Oh, we all have known about the talent that's come through California in recent years. I know more this year, Bronny, Jared McCain. In years past, guys like Marvin Bagley was a killer at Sierra Canyon, Bol and Matter Day. And I mean, there's been hundreds that have, been in the NBA now on the NCAA scale. In your words, describe to us what makes the California basketball scene one of, if not the best in the country.
Uh, I think we have some dogs in California. I mean, we just have people who know how to play and that will just go out and kill.
It seems like, California kids might get the reputation. They're by the beach. They don't got to worry about nothing. If they're
Yeah.
good, there's like 100 Division I schools, it feels like, in California. So I'm sure they're gonna be offered by some. Um, Going up against Matter Day with Trent and Nico and a lot of the other kids who just took down, I know, Centennial, who's an absolute felt like a Goliath. I saw them play against Bishop Gorman at Hoop Hall West out here in Arizona. And not that I was cheering for them to lose, but Bishop Gorman gave them a game. Going up against guys like Matter Day, like Bosco, how much of it is how much competitiveness is in those games? Are they really tense environments when you go to these bigger schools? What are kind of away games like in California against these top schools?
Oh, they're they're tough. Even home games against Modern Day and Bosco, they're tough. There's a lot going back and forth, a lot of dirty plays, but you know that's just how rivalry and big games are.
One of my last questions for you, I usually ask this, when we're during the season about guys in your league and stuff, but since we're transitioning to EYBL, summer ball, who are you most looking forward to playing against on the EYBL circuit? Anybody specific, any team specific that gave you a run for their money last year? Who are some people or some teams that you were excited to play against?
Probably why not? Because they gave us a good game last year and beat us in Kansas City. So looking forward to playing them again because one of my high school teammates is on that team. So looking to give him a loss on the circuit.
One of my last questions for you. Who are the people you see most in yourself, at 6'9", you can go a whole lot of different ways. You can go Mikal Bridges you got long arms, able to play defense really well. You can go so many people. Who are some guys you watch a lot of film on, try to take stuff from their game and add it to yours, and just overall people you look up to and hope to be like one day?
Definitely Katie and Tracy McGrady. Kind of two bigger guard players that know how to get to their spot and that can shoot and that will like post up when they need to.
Why T-Mac? That is one, a lot of the kids I've had on here, they say a lot of newer age guys that are in the league now. T-Mac probably retired when you were still little. Yeah, he was little when he retired when I was, younger. Why him? Was it your dad that probably showed you him and was able to play? But what about Tracy McGrady's game that you try to emulate pieces off of?
It was kind of just when I was growing up and kind of like started like growing taller, and I was working on training like learning how to like use my body when I got taller. And my dad was showing me clips of Penny Hardaway and Tracy McGrady to kind of like show me like how I could play, and like if I keep working hard and training hard, that's like what I can get to. So
when did the growth spurt happen? I do got to ask. Parker was here last week and he said he had I think he said he was like size 12 feet in like 6th grade. So I'm sure the growth spurt happened for you when you were younger. When did it spurt? When did you spurt on pretty much?
I think I went into like the COVID lockdown, like 5'11", 6-foot-ish. And then when everything started like opening up again, I was about like 6'6", 6'7". So I grew like 7 inches during the whole COVID lockdown.
Pretty much you went on spring break my height, and then you saw your buddies for the first time probably in like a year, and they were like, what the heck? What happened to you?
Yeah.
Well, Dallas, I appreciate you coming on. How we
Thank you.
usually end every show, favorite on-court shoe. You're part of the EYBL, so I know you're going to get some goodies this year, I'm sure, from Nike. What was the go-to shoe during the season, and what are going to be the go-to shoes for you during this summer circuit?
Probably during the season was probably the Kobe 6s or the GT cuts, the ones. And then this summer, probably more Kobe's, more GT cuts, and the KD 4s.
KD 4s.
Yeah.
Dude, that shoe might be as old as you.
Yeah, I know. They just re-released the pair, and they like are re-releasing like 2 more pairs later on this year. So
I might need to go grab it. I just bought his jersey because I'm out here in Phoenix, so I might have to go and grab the 4s. Well, Dallas, I appreciate you coming on. Wish you nothing but the best of luck throughout this summer circuit.
Thank you.
Anything to shout out before we get out of here?
No, just appreciate you for letting me come on.
Well, man, good luck this season. I'll make sure to come and watch you during the EYBL circuit when you guys are out here in Phoenix. But best of luck, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.